Hey there my lovelies, and welcome to my BookTube channel, The Sassy Library Fox. My name is V, and today we're going to talk about the best books I read in 2024. Yes, finally I'm able to record this video. It took me quite a while. I was very busy those last couple of weeks. But I'm here now and I have every intention to record the best books I read last year because they deserve to be talked about. So, without further ado, let's just jump into it and talk about the first book that landed on my top 5. Buckle up, sit down, get some water, tea, coffee, whatever you want, and let's just do this. Okay, so the first book I read and loved and which landed in my top 5 of 2024 is Ocean's Blood by Thelma Mantey. I hope I pronounced it right, but yeah, she's written Mantey, so yeah, it's either Mantey or Mantey. Can't go that wrong with the name. Anyway, bad pronunciation aside, I really loved this book. Ocean's Blood was so great because we had a completely different new world and world building I never saw in that kind of form. We have two main characters and one of them is Wind and the other one is Ashe. And Wind has been enslaved to a singer named Sylvain for the last decade, so 10 years. And Wind has a special talent because a singer can borrow his voice and use it to his advantage and to fight. In this book, singers actually are able to fight with their voices, and if one side of a war kind of hires a singer, you can be sure that this side will win. I wonder why they even go to the battlefield if they know that they won't win. But then again, they reveal the singer pretty close to the ending of the fight as some sort of joker. Yeah. Anyway, Wind, or Wind's country, has been overthrown by a war with another singer, and they discovered his talent, that he's a toot, and I think you pronounce it toot, who can borrow his voice to a singer and makes it more powerful. So he's been enslaved to Sylvain for 10 years and he didn't really treat him well, and even though he was a slave, he was still fighting against it and had those small signs of revolt. Then something happens and Sylvain gets injured and another singer is appointed to Wind. And here's the thing where the entire plot gets interesting, because Wind is given to Ashe. And Ashe is a singer, a very unique one, a very different one to the others. He actually cares about his people and he doesn't exploit them, and his toot has a really good standing and feels well treated by him. And Ashe has the order to bring Wind back into the fold, you might say. But then a lot of things happen and Ashe finds himself with Wind at his side and Wind becomes his toot. Yeah. Those two were like cat and mouse. I love the little manipulations and mind games. Ashe was such a complex character. He is manipulative AF. He is so clever. He always thinks 10 steps ahead. He is very powerful and he has a great mind and thinking. You never know what he's up to. He would have had a great poker face, but he's also kind and he has a gentle side to him. And he's fair to his people. And then we have Wind, who has been treated really badly with his former or by his former singer, and is very weary and very distrustful of Ash at first. But then they kind of form, let's say, a tentative friendship. No, I wouldn't go as far as to call it friendship. A tentative trust, mutual trust, and start to work together. And there's also this chemistry between them, but it's a very slow burn until something happens, and this is really close to the ending. And this scene still keeps me busy. I finished this book months ago, but I still think about this scene because I still don't know if it was consensual or not. It's so hard to say. I wrote an entire review about this and about my theories and my thoughts. So if you want to read it, I will put it down in the comments below. I think it would take way too long to explain it all now. But let's just say they have a very interesting dynamic. I love the world building. I love the idea of singers, of the universe in which they live in. And it was just done so well, so creative, so well thought out, multi-layered characters, complex characters, morally grey characters. I found everything I wanted in here. Intrigues, lots of court intrigues. So yeah, this book was amazing. It got really 5 paws and more from me. If you haven't read it yet, you should, because especially if you like all those things I just mentioned. And I'm pretty certain there will be a second book, and I just can't wait for it to come my way because I need to know how it continues. I need to find out. I need answers to all those pressing questions. Thelma, you really did my head in. Okay, enough. Let's take a breath and a sip and go for the second book that made it into my top 5 of 2024. And this one is Imogen, obviously, by Becky Albertalli. And this one actually was a surprise because if you followed this channel closely, you know that I have a very difficult relationship with Becky Albertalli's books. I absolutely loved Simon versus the Homo sapiens gender, but then there were a couple of books I didn't like that much, and I always had some issues with them. And then along came Imogen, obviously, and it was amazing. It was perfect. It was everything I wanted to read, and Becky Albertalli totally nailed it with this book. It's basically about a girl named Imogen, obviously. Haha. That was unintentional. Anyway, it's about Imogen, and Imogen is a girl that considers herself to be totally straight. She's a really strong ally. She helps her friends. She is even in the queer club, I think, even though she isn't queer. But she likes to support and to help them. So she never considered actually being queer herself until her bestie Lily started college. And one weekend she is invited to spend it at the campus, or the new campus, with Lily and her new friends and friend group, which was amazing, by the way. I loved that friend group. It was so hilarious. And then Lily kind of drops a bomb and tells her that she said that they were a couple before and broke up because she didn't want to be the only inexperienced queer. Lily just came out before she went to college, and she kind of felt the pressure not to be a baby queer. I don't know why, but it is the way it is. So she basically kind of pegged Imogen as bisexual. And Imi decides she will just play along with it because no harm done. And then she kind of develops feelings for the sweet girl named Tessa, which is in Lily's friend group. I really like the growing romance between Tessa and Imogen. They were so cute together, and it was just nice. It even makes me smile now. And also the way Imogen found out about her sexuality and discovered that part of herself was really nicely done. I also liked that we got someone or a character like Gretchen. Gretchen was one of Imogen's friend group, and she was one of those queers that tell you how you should feel and how you shouldn't feel, and that thinks that her point of view and her opinion is superior to everyone else's. And often there are some people like that in your friend group. If you have queer friends that will judge you or won't take you seriously, or you and your sexuality seriously, and will always question it, even though you're just questioning yourself, which is very unhelpful. I might add, I really didn't like Gretchen at all. There were a lot of things she said that really rubbed me the wrong way. But I appreciate Becky Albertalli including a character like that in her book, because I think if you have a queer friend group, there's always one of them that will be like Gretchen. Everyone has a Gretchen in their queer friend group. So yeah, it felt very real, very relatable, and even though it rubbed me the wrong way, I know that it happens and that there are people out there like that. Yeah. But aside of that, a really sweet love story, really great coming of age story, and just overall a book that makes you happy. I really liked it. Okay, the third book that made it in my top 5 was The Wolf at the Door by Charlie Adhara, and I absolutely adored this book. Honestly, this was exactly what I wanted to read. I love MM stories. I love stories with a supernatural element, and we have werewolves in here. And I love stories where people, or in this case 2 guys, team up in order to solve a murder mystery. And this book had it all, including humor, easy banter, and just overall it was great. I loved it so much. We basically have Cooper Dayton, and Cooper Dayton is an agent of the BSI, which is a side branch of the FBI that is for supernatural happenings. So whenever something happens that is inexplainable, they send the BSI. So Cooper joined the BSI after a werewolf attack a couple of months ago. He barely survived and is a human agent. And then there is the Trust, which is the agency of the werewolves. They want to keep werewolves in check and under control as well, so they founded Trust. And Cooper and Oliver Park are the first 2 that work together. So this is the first human werewolf team that ever got implemented, and they are kind of well, they are a test if it can work or not. And I just loved those 2. They were hilarious. Park is more the reserved kind of guy. He keeps his emotions close to his heart, and he is very analytic. and where Cooper is the total anti those two dead. He is very emotional, he wears his thoughts on his sleeves, he is chaotic, and oh, I loved him so much. Quite honestly, I rarely got to see such a relatable character. Cooper was so relatable to me because on the one side he's chaotic and he says what he thinks, he's very honest and blunt, but at the same time he's extremely professional when it comes to his work. And he is also a profiler, so he tries to figure out what the murderer thought and how the murderer thinks and operates. So that was really interesting as well. And I honestly, I could relate so much to Cooper. And he was hilarious. The thoughts he had. There were some scenes that really made me laugh so much. And those two, they worked together really well. And well, their chemistry and their easy banter is off the charts. So this was perfect. And I'm so happy that there are 4 more books in this series. And apparently they only get better with each and every book. So I'm in for a treat, and I'll definitely read the second book in 2025 because it was perfect. It was so good. I want to read more. Okay, let's take another sip here before I continue to rave about the amazing books I read in 2024. And now we are coming to the 4th book I read, which was Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. And this was already the 2nd book in the series. What I really love about this series is that it has an amazing world building. It's something I've never read before. It's basically an Arthurian retelling, and we have Arthur and his knights. And there are people that are their incarnation, you might say, and that fight demons, because apparently the first Arthur and his knights fought the demons that went into the human world. And alone that concept is amazing, and I absolutely love the world building, but the characters are great too. We have Bree as a main character, and Bree is a black girl that just started at college and finds out that there are demons, that there is a secret society of Arthurians. I think they call themselves different in the book, but they basically fight demons. And mages exist as well, and they are half demonic. So yeah, I loved this book. I loved Bree as a main character that had to overcome a lot of things and issues because all the knights and Arthur himself, or the reincarnation of Arthur, are white, and she's the only black girl among them. So Tracy Deonn addressed and tackled a lot of different and really important topics and themes with this one, because we have racism, and it's really strong in here. We have the history of black people also included in here through magic and through the root magic Bree is capable of. And it's just wow. Tracy Deonn managed to build such a very amazing, unique world, and she peppered it with so many important topics and issues, and it's just great. And this 2nd book, wow, I love Selwyn Kane. Selwyn is the mage of this book, and I absolutely adored all the side characters. William is the incarnation of Gawain, and he is amazing. He's a healer, and he's just an overall awesome human being. And I love that there was appearing love interest in this 2nd book for William. I can't wait to see where this is going to head. but also the injustice in this second book. There was so much injustice, and I was so angry. I was so angry on Bree's behalf. I honestly, there were moments I wanted just to tear the book apart. I know the book can't anything for it, but it just made me so angry. I hate injustice. It's one of the things that really get me so angry and rile me. And the book was so full of it. And also the ending. This is I think one of the few times I regret that I started to read a series, because when I started to read Legendborn, I thought it was a standalone, only to discover at the ending that it is a series. Then I waited an entire painful year for Bloodmarked to come out. And then it ended on such a mean cliffhanger, and I'm still waiting for book 3, and I regret that I started to read this series. It's amazing, it's great, it's one of the best series I ever read, but it's killing me, the weight is killing me. I think many readers might be able to relate. I'm suffering here. Please, Tracy, Deonn, if you watch this video, please release the third book soon. I need it. And also, if my library or someone from my library watches this, please get the third book. I want to read it. Okay, never mind. This was a desperate plea. But it needed to be said. And now we come to the 5th book that made it into my top 5 of 2024, and it is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I am so late to the hype. I know this series is already, all 3 books are released, thankfully. It's Little Miracles and Small Mercies. Because I totally got hooked to this series. I even read the second book of the series in 2024, and that says a lot, because I rarely pick up a second book of a series in the same year I start to read it. So I think this speaks volumes about how much I enjoyed this series, or how much I'm enjoying it, because I still have to read the third book. And I'm pretty certain I will read it this year, because my library has all of them. And as for what it is about, in the Inheritance Games we have Avery Grams, and Avery Grams is a nobody, just a normal girl that tries to survive and get by. Her sister's boyfriend is very abusive and horrible, and Avery tends to prefer to sleep in her car to avoid him. And from one moment to the next, overnight, she suddenly discovers that she inherited billions from a very secluded and strange billionaire named Tobias Hawthorne. And no one knows why he would give all his money to a girl that's basically a nobody no one knew before, especially because he has 4 grandchildren, 4 grandsons, I might add. They are all amazing. I love those 4 boys. We have Grayson, we have Nash, we have Jameson, and we have Sander. And they are all very different. Their mother slept with 4 different men. And one of the things we discover during the series is who those men were and who their fathers are, which is always interesting to read about. It's more the side plot. The main plot is about Avery and how she discovers why she inherited the money and the reasons for it. I loved Hawthorne Manor because this house is a dream. There are so many secret passages and doors and things to figure out. I loved it. I want to see a house like Hawthorne Manor in real life. just to discover all the hidden secrets. This is perfect for me. Also the riddles and the kind of, in German we would say Schnitzeljagd. I don't know how you say it in English. But yeah, never mind, I loved it. I love to follow all those crumbs and hints. And of course, Avery is kind of drawn to two of the Hawthorne boys. Grayson and Jameson are both at her age. And she has a lot of chemistry with both of them. I wonder which one she will decide on in the end and which one will win her heart. So far, after the second book, there's a preference, but I don't know if it will happen or not. And all the secrets, intrigues, and the backstabbing, I love it. This series is made for me, honestly. I can't believe I only discovered it now. I'm very happy that there are more books to come. I heard that there is a second trilogy about Avery and her kind of holding a competition. So I will have a lot to read over those next couple of years, and I'm totally not mad about it. Also, I recently got recommended a couple of her other series on my blog page when I spoke about this one, so that's great. I have a lot of books to read. So yeah, those were the 5 top books I read last year. There were so many more, so many other books I could have talked about and put into this video, but I chose to speak about the 5 books that really were amazing and still kind of keep my mind occupied, because I think that's one of the things that kind of makes the difference of a 4-pause and 5-pause read for me. If I still think about the book months after I read it and it's stuck in my mind and I still think about it and need to figure out things, yeah, then it's definitely a 5-pause read. Also, if I want to pick it up again and read it or reread it, then that's always a 5-pause read for me. So those 5 books all fit the bill. I love them all. I could have put honorable mentions, but I decided against it because this video is probably already getting way too long, and yeah, I better stop speaking now. What I really would love to hear are your thoughts on all of those books. Did you read them? Did you enjoy them? Didn't you enjoy them? And if you didn't, please write a comment down below and let me know why. I would love to hear your reasons. Also, which books made it into your personal 5 or top 5 of last year and why? Any book recommendations are always welcome. And well, I guess we're already at the ending of my video and there's nothing left to say except of take care, stay healthy and safe, and see you around the next time. Bye!